In this video, I'm going to share with you the method to stay consistent without burnout. I would go approximately 17 days before crashing out every month. I mean, as a woman, we have cycles, right? And our hormones are crazy sometimes. I mean, just we go through these ups and downs. So being a part of a hustle culture just doesn't really work for us as easily as it does for men. So here's what I've learned about sustainable consistency versus the toxic hustle culture. Do it every day ignores your humanity. It's an all or nothing mindset, and it doesn't take into account the different cycles in life, the seasons in life. And then if you do that over a period of time of keep doing it and failing and doing it and failing, or feeling like you're failing or not doing what you should be doing, that puts weight on your mental. And that's going to affect you in a lot of areas of your life. Now we're talking about more depression, more anxiety because we feel like we need to be doing more. This is trying to use your willpower, and that just runs out after a period of time. It is not sustainable. It's like a rubber band. Yes, you can stretch it, and that's what it's meant for. But if you do it for a long period of time, you're going to stretch it out of shape. It's not going to be the same as it was. And then if you keep doing it, it gets weaker and weaker, and it will snap. I mean, that's why we have a show called Snapped. The sustainable success method that I'm talking about starts off with the 80-20 rule. That means that 80% is more achievable than 100%. So if we know that there's going to be a 20% difference where you may or may not show up fully, you may or may not be able to do the thing, it doesn't mean that you stop or quit or beat yourself up. We still show up the other 80% of the time. This takes pressure off of quitting. Because yes, you may miss a day, but it doesn't mean you have to give up because you missed 100% of the time. So we're going to aim for 80% consistency, and 20% life is just going to happen. So missing 2 days doesn't mean that you quit. Ideally, the goal is to not miss more than 1 day consecutively. So you may miss a day, but then we pick it back up the next day. We don't necessarily want 2 days back to back, but life happens, things happen, and you just make the adjustment, but it doesn't mean to quit. It doesn't mean it's failure and you should beat yourself up about it. The next technique in this method is the energy bank method. I've talked about this in a few of my other videos, so go ahead and subscribe if you're new here, because I talk about this all the time, just in different ways. And what I talk about the energy bank method is that you have energy, right? And we're thinking of it as a currency, like money. And we invest wisely. We want to invest wisely. So if there is a leak or something, we need to figure out where that's at, that energy leak, and we stop it. And then we get to intentionally choose where we want to invest our energy. This also means that you're going to want to go with your energy flow. You have a natural up and down of energy. Again, if we're doing cycles, you know that at a certain point, you're not going to have a lot of energy. So we plan for those times. That means when you do have energy, those times of the month where you do and you know you can, we're going to do more, or we're going to do the higher task that requires more energy. Doesn't mean you need to do more, but just the tasks that require more energy from you, because we're only investing in a certain few areas. And then the days that you don't have a lot of energy, we do the tasks that has the lowest amount of energy expenditure. So like on the days where we have a lot of energy, we're going to go to the gym. We're going to do our one main task or habit towards our main goal. So it could be, for me, like writing for a period of time. And then on the lower energy days, I can check email, I can respond to things, I can do lower energy tasks. In order to do this efficiently, just like a budget you would for your finances, you're going to want to track your habits and track when you have high energy, low energy. But I'm going to talk about that after the next technique. The next strategy or technique I want to talk about is habit stacking and rest together with that, because we don't want to not include rest. We're going to need that, but we work around it. And then habit stacking is when you have a specific habit. So let's say when I wake up in the morning and I hear my alarm, I open my blinds, I make my bed. So my habit stacking, let's say making my bed was not a habit that I had before, is when I hear my alarm and I open my blinds, then I get out of the bed and make my bed. So my trigger was my regular routine of opening the blinds. So whenever I do that, then I do the new habit. Just like if you want to incorporate talking to yourself nicely or repeating something that you're trying to learn, then when you're brushing your teeth, which is something that you already do, that is when you do the verbal thing or the mental thing that you want to do. You're going to repeat whatever the thing is. So we're habit stacking. Whenever I get into my car, then I do my breath work. Whenever I get into the shower, I repeat those affirmations or whatever it is that you're trying to repeat. For me, a big thing was getting back into meditation daily. It really helps me a lot, mainly breath work into meditation. And so what I would do is whenever I get into the car in the morning, then I would do that. Whenever I get into the sauna, then I would do that. So my regular habit of getting into the car or going to the sauna, those are my triggers to then do the meditation. This prevents new habits from feeling like a punishment, like you have to do this thing. So if you incorporate it with the other thing, then it's just going to start to become a full-on habit with something else kind of attached to it, and then it's more sticky. The next strategy in this method is to track. We want to track our habits so that we can see. First, we want to track and see what we do now. Like I said before, when is your energy high? When is it low? What are you doing during those times? Is something giving you energy or taking away? So we're kind of doing an assessment, an audit, or a budget of, where our energy is being spent. And then we can look at that and make adjustments. Once we've made the adjustments and we know how we want to habit stack, just small things at a time, but once we do that, then we're going to track and see how often we do that. Because sometimes we don't even remember what we wore the day before, or what we ate, or where we went, how did we even get home, those things like that, because our mind is in so many different places. So it's hard for us to really remember everything that happens through the day. So it's good to kind of do it throughout the day. I keep my planner with me. I do it throughout the day or after work, and then I check in again at night. So I kind of fill that in. Or you can do it the next morning. Try to, if you can remember, what did you do during those times? Did you rest? Or did you have high energy? It's kind of journaling in a sense as well. But this helps you see with a better picture of how consistent you're being. And then you can see that you're actually becoming this new person because you're doing the things more consistently. Yes, you may not do it every single day, but we're doing it more consistently. We're incorporating it. We're making the adjustment. Maybe you tried it in the morning, but it's not working, so let's do it right after work. Maybe you tried it then, but it's better at night. Whatever the thing is, now we're tracking it and adjusting. This is kind of like if you plan to go to the gym for 30 minutes, but you only did 5 minutes. You still showed up, which is very important. And then we're just going to keep showing up. And then we're going to do more. And then we're going to keep doing more because you're showing up. So you're there anyway. So you may as well stay longer than 5 minutes. But again, you need to track these things, because if you don't, you're going to think back and be like, oh man, I haven't been to the gym in so long, this and that. But if you wrote it down, you'd have seen that you actually went to the gym 4 days during the week. Maybe not every day, but you did 4 days in a week when you used to do none. So you need to be able to see this. A good way to do this again is to use a planner or a journal and just go back at the end of the week and review it. We set aside time for this. This is like a non-negotiable because we want these goals to stick and we've been trying for so long. So you have to do these foundational things. Sustainable consistency is about being human and not perfect. So what is one habit that you're gonna work on being consistently inconsistent with? You may not do it every single day, but you want to start to do it. Whatever that habit is, leave it in the comments below. Sustainable consistency is about being human and not perfect. One thing that you could do, which I talk about in another one of my videos, is called the identity shift. And so you're going to say, I am someone who, and then you say whatever that habit is, someone who does this thing. So you can start to say that. Go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know you are someone who does what. What are you doing? What's this habit that you want to change? So choose one habit and define what good enough looks like. So on those low energy days, you're still showing up, you did your 2 minutes or your 5 minutes, and then we can mark that off on our tracker and see that we are making progress. And you're going to subscribe so that every time you see my videos, I can check in with you and make sure that we're working towards our one habit daily. And as always, don't forget, shine on.